This is another week, another podcast, PixelBlips.com, weekly wrap-up podcast. I'm news editor Andy Ryan, associate editor David DeWert. It is June 24th. And Dave, what are you playing? What have you played this past week?
Still haven't beaten Space Marine. Warhammer 40k, Space Marine, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I found, charged, and used my PSP for the first time in the past, 6 months. I bought...
My Vita's jealous.
No, it's not.
No, I used my Vita today.
Yeah.
I have a cute little story that I'll tell, but it's not cute.
And I started playing, Crimson Gems Saga last night.
Oh, yeah, I like that game.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like about it is the map system for inside the dungeons.
There's a map system for inside? I've only been playing for
No, there's not. It's an extreme lack of one.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, because I've only been playing for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I got to the first dungeon. I picked up the cat girl and the wizard guy.
Yeah, I wanted to say I tried to play it 3 times, and every time I got to the same dungeon, where the dungeon is basically rooms, like The Legend of Zelda.
Just little square rooms with entrances?
They're little circle rooms with entrance and exit, and they're all very similar, and there's a lot of them, and by the time you're pretty far into the dungeon, you can't find your way out, and you can't find your way to the goal, and it was just, gah.
You're lost as hell. Well,
But there's enough stuff in that game that I liked. I loved the battle system. Oh, and even the retreat system. Mm-hmm. How it's kind of has the roulette wheel gambit.
I haven't tried to run away from anything yet, but there's been a couple of times when I've tried.
It becomes a fun little mini game of
I will
risk and reward.
Yeah, there'll be some times when I do try to run away, and there's the smoke bombs. I guess you can use for that too to make sure you get away.
The funny thing is, it's actually a sequel to another game that I had on my PSP that I really liked. That was called. Oh, great! Now we need to Google. It's like a story or something.
Wow. I'm having fun with it. Since I got my PlayStation Plus thing, I've been trying to do more with it so I can see what it's all about. Fortunately, there were no PSP games that were free this week.
No.
And there probably won't be for a while.
Free PSP games don't really happen.
Or even
ever.
Or even discounted PSP games.
Oh yeah, discounted does happen.
I was going to put minis on it, but I decided, no, I want to play full games. So.
But yeah, it was Astonish a Story.
Okay.
Was the prequel, and Astonish a Story I really liked by a South Korean company, and it is a turn-based strategy role-playing game that was super simple. Pick up. Play a couple turns, put it in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about this. I can take my PSP to work when I'm on break or lunch. I can, do a couple of battles and maybe can push the story a little bit.
I spent $30 on Crimson Gem Saga. How much did you spend?
15.
Yeah, I have had it for 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
That kind of shows that the PSN needs to mark some stuff on sale that's not moving.
Well, I paid it for half price for it, but yeah, it's I just figured I went to the stores looking for a time sync JRPG. Mm-hmm. Everything they had in the stores was fucking expensive, so I didn't want to
seriously, they need to please discount Tactics Ogre. I want to play that game, but I don't want to pay $20 for it.
Well, and I was looking, I saw Persona 4, or no, not Persona 4, Persona 3, and it was like $35.
That's because it's Persona.
It's like $29 on the PSN though.
Yeah.
So. But, I figured I'd do that, give me some time, give me something to do for the summer since apparently there's nothing coming out.
There is nothing coming out, but we'll get to that. I haven't played much this week. I totally stopped playing Just Cause 2.
Is it that bad?
No, not willingly stopped playing it, but I got into it for a little bit, and after last week's podcast, for about an hour and a half, and just have never felt the need to go back. You're like, okay, maybe. In a couple weeks, but not now.
Not right now.
What I am playing is Zen Pinball has released a new...
The Avengers table.
Table pack, yes.
Ugh.
I'm a big Marvel Comics fan.
Nerd.
And I do enjoy virtual pinball.
Me too.
And these 4 tables are probably the best tables that Zen has put together. And one of them could even be a real table.
Which one is it? I haven't seen it.
World War Hulk. World War Hulk is super fun, has a ton of ramps, ton of orbits, a cool little mini game, and it could conceivably be a real working in the world table.
Well, I mean, that's cool.
Which I know we've talked before about how you don't like Zen Pinball.
Well, I like Zen Pinball, but a lot of the tables are, you can't do that stuff. Like with the Fantastic Four, the characters move and they do all the like weird.
Yeah.
Fantastic
I mean, the characters
Four-y
move in this
things.
World War Hulk thing, but you could get rid of those characters and the
And it
pinball
wouldn't
would
affect
still,
the game at all.
Would still be really fun. That does not impede my enjoyment of it
no,
at all.
no,
In fact, I like it more. I love seeing, like, when I hit a bumper or something, the little 10,000 point message pops up above it.
Like floating text.
Like floating text. It just
kinda
feeds that inner need of points for
I
me.
mean, you could do that. I mean, you could do that in real life with just a screen and like a
Yeah.
little laser thing, but that would make it
Like that,
more expensive
what
than
was
those
that,
tables already are.
Star Wars Episode 1 pinball table.
Oh,
Where they had the
where they had the
monitor in it.
screen on it
Yeah.
over the top. Yeah, that was
Reflected on
really-
the glass.
Really goofy, terrible looking.
Now, something had to save pinball, and it was not Star Wars
No, it
Episode
wasn't.
1.
Well, Stern's the only one that's actually making tables anymore. So,
Yeah. And I do
they only
love
put out
Stern
one
tables.
one or two a year.
Yeah,
so.
I love Stern tables. I got a chance to play their Iron Man table and their Tron table a couple weeks back, and I really liked the Tron table.
Yeah, the last one I played, I think, was it? It wasn't the Family Guy. No, I can't remember
Stern do the Family Guy?
I can't remember the last real pinball machine I played. Like that was new.
Yeah, well,
Um,
they have an Iron Man table over on 39th Street
oh, good.
at one of the bars. Anyway, but I'm not playing a lot because not a lot's coming out.
There's nothing new.
When the notable release for a week is a Lego game and a Disney movie game,
Yeah.
you kind of know you're in the summer doldrums. Like, we kind of...
Well, I mean,
And this is even
everything-
the start of it, too. Like, this is the start of the summer dry spell. Like, once, like, late July and August hit, those times where there's not going to be movie games coming out, I mean, it's just like, you might as well go outside.
But it's too damn hot.
It is too damn hot to go outside. So, like, this is always the best time of year to, like, one, work through your already bought stack, I always feel, your back catalog, and pick up games that you missed the first time around for cheap.
If you're lucky.
Like, I've been looking to find copies of Singularity, which has been out for a few years, that I've heard very good things about, but I've never played, and Syndicate, the rehash of Syndicate, which I heard good things about. I like Starbreeze, the company that made it, also made Darkness 1 and the Chronicles of Riddick games, which I really liked when they came out, and I want to see how they take that license and what they do with
what
it.
they do, yeah.
That, and like with Summer of Arcade over on Xbox Live and new stuff coming to the PSN all the time.
And Steam and Origin and
Yeah,
I mean everything.
It's
except for-
time to grab stuff at cheap and indie stuff that maybe you didn't check out the first time around.
Yeah.
So like I'm kind of looking forward to. I don't use my computer a lot, but after the news this week that Binding of Isaac sold like 700,000 copies and you really liked it, I might go ahead and dust off the Steam account for the first time in 8 years.
Since Half-Life 2 came out.
Yeah, since Half-Life 2 came out, and spend the $10,
$5 or whatever.
$5.
I think I got
whatever
it for like $2.50 because it was on Steam sale.
Yeah, whatever it is, and just try it, just to mess around. Because I mean, that's the good thing with mobile games and some of the Vita games is they're so cheap. $2.
You're out $2. What? No, you can't buy a soda today.
Yeah, like you. What? You can't even buy a freaking burger at McDonald's for $2. You
You can buy
like,
one of the
super cheap burger,
yeah,
but
the dollar ones, but
yeah. But I don't think those are burgers because I don't know that they contain meat.
I don't know. Which means your wife could eat one.
Boom. Happy early birthday. Well, happy birthday to my wife. She's gonna be turning a quarter of a
You better
century.
not say.
Yeah.
She won't watch. It's
No, she
okay.
won't. She doesn't care. This is that thing I do on weekends that she doesn't care about. But yeah, so like I said, like I Singularity, Syndicate. I also want to go back and pick up White Knight Chronicles 2 because I have the first one, and I played through about 90% of it, and just other stuff came out and I lost interest in it. And I want to get White Knight Chronicles 2 because they redid the battle system, and when they did that, they went in and redid everything in White Knight Chronicles 1 so that you can play 1 into 2.
So they basically patched it into a prequel for 2.
Yeah, but all on one disc. So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's like one
So
super
you
huge
basically,
game.
yeah, you basically instead of getting part 1 and part 2, you basically get
All of it in
all
one
of it.
big chunk.
Yeah.
I
And
probably-
it's level 5, and I've always loved level 5, and I didn't really like the online.
I was gonna say, was the multiplayer any good in it?
The multiplayer wasn't great, but
Okay.
it was there, and it was there that they tried something new, and it didn't detract from the main story, which is your very rote orphan boy goes on adventure to save princess. But it's fun and cool, and I really liked it the first time around.
Yeah. Okay.
So those would be my 3 suggestions. If you're looking, if you're at a retail storefront and you're looking at cheapo games and you're like, what do I want to get? I would say I've heard good enough things about Singularity and Syndicate and White Knight Chronicles 2 that I feel like if you found them for less than $20, you would not be disappointed. Now, once again, full disclaimer, I haven't played those games. I'm planning on playing those games. I'm also planning on digging into my extensive back catalog of stuff that I bought and never played.
All those NES, Super NES, Sega games?
Yeah. At the moment, I'm trying to get into X-Men: The Clone Wars 2 on the Sega Genesis, which is not a sequel to the Star Wars Attack of the Clones with the X-Men, which would probably be awesome, but it's not that.
Star Wars and X-Men, huh?
It would be cool. Like Wolverine has like lightsaber blades.
Why you do that?
And I'm also gonna try and dig into Earthbound at some point this summer because I have a friend that's letting me borrow his Earthbound Super Nintendo cartridge under the trust that I'm not gonna turn around and sell it on eBay and then
You should totally
pocket the money and put my non-existent kids through college.
You should totally do that.
Yeah, he'd kill me. So what are your recommendations for getting through the summer doldrums?
Well, like you said, go look and see if there's any, find some games, go to, sites with reviews and just look up some stuff that came out in the past and look up, forum posts and stuff for what people are saying about, older games.
Like the stuff that came out this past Christmas should now be getting like to the half price area.
Or, yeah, the $20, $30.
So like Dragon Age 2, if I found the PS3 version of it so I could carry my save over, if I found that for like $15,
You'd
like
probably
that's my
be
sweet
well
spot
served
for that.
for $15 because I heard that game was more like Mass Effect with swords than Dragon Age Origins.
I still haven't gotten into Mass Effect. I have not played Mass Effect 2. I have not played Mass Effect 3. It's one of those games that I'm sure I will like it when I finally sit down to play it, but I feel no need. No one has come up to me and been like, it is amazing.
Well, Xbox fanboys
Well,
who don't have good games.
there's good games
I take
on
that
the
back.
Xbox.
There's good games on the 360.
There's good role-playing games on the Xbox.
There's a lot of good
Namely,
RPGs.
Tales of Vesperia.
Yeah.
I love the Tales games. That's if in 10 years when I go back and buy an Xbox 360 as a legacy system to add to my collection, I will definitely hunt out Tales of Vesperia.
Okay. Also, look at the Steam sales. If you don't want to leave the house because it's too freaking hot, you can always check Steam. You can always check Origin. Good Old Games. They have all kinds of
Good Old Games is always good. This
cheap
is the point in the podcast in which I say, if you don't want to leave the house because it is too hot and you are only going to a retail store where you know they crank the air conditioner up, now might be the time to start looking into some calisthenic work.
maybe.
Just saying, it might not be healthy. if your thought is, man, I really want to buy this game, I got to buy it off Steam because I don't want to take the 5 seconds it's going to take for me to get from the front door to the car, and then the 10 minutes it's going to take to the air conditioner in the car to cool down, and then that next 5 minutes from the car to the store, and then all that in reverse. If that's a thought process for you,
Why you got to be that way?
we might want to look at other issues.
Or it's
Unless, of course, you live in like Phoenix, Arizona, and it's like, a balmy 115.
10 o'clock at night and you work evenings, or you work overnights, so you get home from work and everything's closed, or you sleep during the day and you want to set something to download to play during the weekend.
I mean, this is the point at which we've already suggested the PlayStation Plus for the freebie games, but also if you have a Vita, if you're one of the few who bought one of those launch systems. Now is the time to dig into that back catalog of PSP games.
And does it have PS1 compatibility yet?
No, but it is
In work.
supposedly
It's a work
before
in
July.
process?
Supposedly before July. No.
They got a week.
Yeah, they got a week.
Less than a week.
But my attention's not going to be on them. It's going to be on the Amazing Spider-Man coming out. So.
Yeah, good for you.
Well,
I haven't seen a movie in like 4 months, and there's been like 8 movies I wanted to see.
you saw Avengers.
Okay, so that was the last movie I saw, and I saw it twice because kids ruined it the first time.
Kids run everything. But
Not
anyway,
everything.
we were talking about Crimson Gem Saga, Persona. I can't suggest the Ys series enough because they're great games and they're super quick, it's super fast, super fun, and they give you that loot and experience points and leveling up rush.
Yeah.
That need, but at the same time, they're save anywhere as long as it's not a boss battle.
Yeah. And that's
Go on
kind of what
your
I
way.
was looking for with buying a PSP game was if I can save anywhere, if I'm out in the world, I don't have to find a little save point. I can just, open up the menu, save, good, cool.
That's what everyone always talks about. They want an HD Final Fantasy VII, and I just want a Final
No, you
Fantasy VII
don't.
where I can just save.
Yeah.
I don't have to go find anywhere to save. Like,
Yeah,
I wish
and
for
that was the problem with. That's why I removed 7 from my PSP because
that. And that
I would-
game takes up a lot of space.
it was like 1.5 gigs.
Well, yeah, for a PlayStation 1 game.
It was 3 discs. 8 was 4.
They made an 8, and
Final Fantasy 8. Yeah, it was.
never-
It was terrible.
I've never heard of
Mostly
that.
terrible.
Why would they? I mean, I knew they had 7 and 9, but I assumed there was an 8, but I haven't heard about it.
9 was. I don't know. I never played 9.
9 was good. You should go back and play 9. I think it's probably $10 on the PlayStation Store. There's another recommendation for the summer.
Probably is. Yeah. And if all else, if you're a big ARPG fan, I think Torchlight 2 comes out next month sometime. So you might get lucky and get Torchlight 2 for $20. I know you can pre-order it on Steam. I don't know if they have a date. I just know they have a month that it's being released. So.
Speaking of ARPGs, so something big happened this past week.
2 weeks.
2
something
weeks?
like that.
2 weeks ago? This
Week and a half.
it's now coming into stark relief, I guess is the wordy term, is the auction house. Real Money Auction House and Diablo 3. Diablo 3 probably going to end up being the best-selling, most popular game that is not Call of Duty this year. Now has a Real Money Auction House where you can go on
Spend money to buy fake crap.
and not fake money.
No, you spend real money,
Real money.
on digital items.
Yes, now full disclosure before we get into this argument, I have spent real money on virtual crap that did nothing. I bought the Ghostbusters Firehouse in PlayStation Home because I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and it was $3.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, Blizzard isn't going to release DLC for this game at all, right?
I
I
would be surprised if they didn't do an expansion pack.
They probably will do an expansion pack, but that'll be 2 years from now or a year and a half from now because they've still got Heart of the Swarm they're working on. They're working on whatever Titan is, and they're working on the WoW expansion. So they got 3 projects sitting already.
Another WoW expansion after Pandora?
No, that's the one that they're working on.
Oh,
now.
okay.
It's in
I was about to say, like,
middle beta testing. It'll
like
probably be out by the end
how
of
much
September.
how much more can they expand to that?
They got 10 more levels after this, and I'm sure they've got lots of lore to make up. But I don't see. I mean, I'm not going to spend money on the real money auction house. I like playing Diablo, but I will just go farm gold. If I need to buy something, I'll buy it off the gold auction house. With the way that they changed it last week, they increased the amount of gold repair bills now cost you because it used to be full repair was like $5,000. Now it's like $30,000. So I don't know if they're trying to push people to buy gold off the real money auction house or what. But as far as the real money auction house, I don't see it as any different than, say, League of Legends, where you pay real money for skins or for new characters. And that's, I mean, granted, League of Legends is a free-to-play game, so you don't have to buy the skins, and you can earn all the characters just by playing more. Because that's how they make the money. That's their business model.
Yeah.
I think Blizzard is being a little greedy with the whole, okay, whatever you sell it for, we get, a percentage. I think it's like 15%.
No, I mean, but you're basically selling the commodity you're selling only
is a randomly generated item.
Only has value because they say it does.
Well, only has value because you got lucky on a drop. Because if you had...
If I sell a +1 longsword, which it's Diablo, so it couldn't possibly be called a +1 longsword.
Well, no, it would be, something of the bear, or something of the cruel something of the serpent, or something like that.
So if you sold that, the real question comes into, is there any legal backlash now that...
Oh, I'm sure the TOS has that all covered. Well, as far as all you're doing is, hey, you got lucky on a drop, great. You can sell this for however much somebody wants to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. But the flip side is the person that paid for it. If they all decide that the +1 longsword is $5 at its current value, it's $5. Yep. So someone pays $5 for that +1 longsword, and then the +1 longsword through patching or whatever this
gets nerfed really hard.
Yeah, this came up on the giantbomb.com podcast. If that gets nerfed and it's now no longer worth $5, which is a real world value.
Yeah, and
unlike gold, which is,
it's worth whatever they want you to pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's fake money.
Yeah.
That you pay real money for, and that's going to fluctuate just like U.S. currency fluctuates with everything else in the world.
Yeah, it's fiat money. Yeah. But the point is, it's a game. It's not a nation that has an economy. Because the dollar is tied to various things. Our gross national product, the general state of our economy versus everyone else's. The real money auction house doesn't have that. There's no...
No, not really.
Diablo has no gross national product. It has no exports. It has no imports. There's no way to say a +1 sword in Diablo is worth $5 and a +1 sword in Dragon Age is worth $3. There's no...
Well, yeah.
Outside
I
of
understand
the
that.
audience prescribes that value.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see what you're talking about, because with last week they made a change to attack speed or something. So all weapons that have attack speed now are automatically worth less than they were last week. And there, a lot of people fear that, oh well, these weapons are going, this stuff's going for this high or whatever. So Blizzard's going to manipulate it and nerf it so that it's not as good, or it doesn't,
Well, it is a good way for Blizzard to gauge the popularity of certain buffs.
Yeah, certain...
if things for attack speed are going for a ludicrously high, exorbitant price,
so
they
it
know
must
that,
be broken.
Yeah, they know that people want that, so we need to fix that.
Yeah, we need to
they want to
lower
exploit
it or raise it or whatever, yeah.
But it is weird, because this, once again, is real money.
Yeah, I know. But
people go to work right now, close your eyes and realize that people go to work at jobs they don't like, for bosses they hate, so that they can have funds to buy a +1 longsword in Diablo. Somewhere out there right now,
there is some guy that is doing that. Yeah, in fact, I probably work with one of them.
He's one of the. Given the
the
sales numbers of Diablo 3, we all probably work with one of them.
Yeah, well, knowing him, he's probably one of the guys that's farming all the stuff to sell to you, so he doesn't have to work that crap job. Because I've seen some stuff on there.
If you could, can you imagine retire? I'm going to retire off my Diablo 3.
That would be
earnings.
That would be amazing.
Screw all you guys. Screw this podcast. I'm just going to go buy Diablo 3
and I'm going to farm the crap out of it. No.
And the Chinese gold farmers. We're all going to retire.
But see, I think that's why that's why they made the real money auction house, was to actually say, okay, if people are willing to pay real...
pseudo-legitimize gold farming?
Let me finish.
Okay.
If there are people who are willing to pay real money for all this stuff, because in WoW you have your Chinese gold farmers, you have all those people who, all those Chinese gold farmers. I know it's kind of a racist term, but that's what people call them.
Gold farmers.
No, the gold farmers.
Just call them gold farmers.
So they are, in fact, yes, trying to legitimize that, but they're also trying to get a cut of it. If somebody else is going to play our game a lot...
But everyone needs their cut. Man.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody needs their cut.
Everyone needs a little taste.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a taste. I've seen Miami Vice. I know how this works.
it's, that's
Diablo 3 Gold, crack cocaine, same thing.
More or
PixelBlips
less.
podcast,
Yeah, I know.
sweeping generalization.
But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to tap into the people who are going to pay to win, basically.
Yeah, which is the free-to-play model.
Yeah, but it's not a free-to-play game. It's a $60 thing. I see the point, and if you want to do it, by all means, spend your hard-earned...
We are not... There's enough shit going wrong in our lives that we don't judge anybody.
Yeah, no.
Except for circus clowns. Anyway.
Why you gotta be so mean? So, I mean, if you want to do it, great. You do, great, awesome. If all you want to do is sell or try to sell, because if you have something that is not ridiculously overpowered, you're not going to get anything for it. You're not even going to get $1 or $2 for some of these items.
Kind of like the mid-'90s when people were selling comics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble out there right now that is maybe sitting on X-Men #2 signed by Jim Lee. That's not worth a lot of money. That's not worth as much money as it was worth when you bought it.
Sorry, dog.
Whoops. And that's the other problem with vintage properties, because I'm a retro game collector. Things are prescribed certain values based on their rarity in the market, their demand in the market. But at the end of the day, it's not like Nintendo can show up at my front door and say, dude, we're totally going to shut down all the Super Mario 3 carts across the universe. Okay. But with how Diablo 3 is set up, Blizzard could just pull the plug. Not that they would, that would be stupid. But they could just literally say,
we're not going to support this game anymore, we're done.
15 years from now when Diablo 4 comes out, pull the plug and everything's over. And all that real money that was spent, all that investment that was made,
it's all gone.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of why I'm not going to spend any money on it. I know I've probably spent more than $40 on League of Legends. I'm just buying characters and skins for the characters that I played all the time. Yeah. I still have access to them, but at some point, you're right. Those games will not be supported anymore. The servers...
I mean, it's kind of like PlayStation Plus. Like they say, as long as you keep your subscription up for PlayStation Plus, you can keep everything you get for free. But eventually, Sony's not going to support PlayStation Plus anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be years down the line.
At that point, most people won't care.
Yeah. It would be super cool if they released a patch that, if you were a subscriber in the last month, all the stuff that you had on your hard drive became unlocked.
Yeah.
But that's not, one, they don't have to do that. Two, they're probably not going to do that.
They won't.
But once again, here's down the line. Like I said, 15 years, Diablo 4 comes out.
Yeah, maybe 15 years. If they come up with another one.
Blizzard and Valve are two companies that I have huge admiration for because it is done when it is done, and we will release it when it is done.
That's right. Like Half-Life 3. Oh, wait, we don't know that yet.
Yeah, Half-Life 3, the biggest, fattest gorilla in the room. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the other news that came out this week, speaking of everyone needs to get their taste, Satoru Iwata, he needs a little taste. 3DS XL, roughly 14 months after 3DS comes out.
Was it?
The 3DS XL will be out, right? 14? No.
Yeah, I think
15, because it'll be out in August, right? Or July.
Didn't it come out in like November of last year?
No, it came out in March. They had a price cut. Which
That's right.
I feel bad for that 3DS first adopter. As much as people have been crying for a Vita price cut, and I'm sure Sony would do something similar to the early adopter program that Nintendo had, I don't want a Vita price cut because that machine is worth $300. The machine is worth, the Wi-Fi one is $250.
Yeah.
It has a worth. The 3DS was worth $250, and then $170, and now we're gonna have the 3DS XL, which is just the same thing but bigger at $199.
Yeah, it's at $200, I think.
Mainly because I think they're selling the 3DS. Now this is rumor, but I think they're selling the 3DS at a loss.
They might be now,
or as a profit margin at which they can't sustain it.
Yeah.
That's where you're getting. That's why the 3DS XL is coming into the market.
Yeah. Well, and
because they need more money.
Well, just
because you bet there is not $30 worth of difference in those two items.
There might be. I mean, it depends on how much
plastic,
how much more it costs to make the bigger screens. Because I know I would never have bought if I was going to buy a DS, I would have bought the DSi XL, the bigger one.
The bigger one.
Just because I don't have little kid hands. I've
Yes.
got, normal, 28-year-old guy
And your
hands.
eyes are bad. Let's face it.
My eyes aren't that bad.
And you're incontinent.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but the 3DS XL, I mean, I'm kind of interested in it. I'm never going to buy a 3DS until it's a legacy system. I always buy the Nintendo portables as legacy systems.
Once they've been dead for a couple of years.
Yeah, and you can get them at a price that is reasonable. But the reason I'm not going to buy the 3DS ever is because I haven't bought a DS. Because there's nothing there for me. There's nothing that's
There's a lot of
pulling me there.
JRPGs on the 3DS, though.
Yeah, but they're
on the DS.
JRPGs that I can get elsewhere.
Some of them aren't. But would you want to play them if you?
Yeah.
Man,
I
I
mean,
know you're not
that
going to
and
sit there.
those
You're not going to buy Pokemon Black and White
touch
2.
screens. Pokemons. Let me show you them.
All of them, ever.
But the weird thing is how they announced it is what I want to talk about, because Nintendo has decided to forget what we would consider the normal news cycle for games journalism. They're going to do their own thing and announce stuff at midnight. Well, midnight our time is some other time in Japan.
Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. If it's 12 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So it's about noon.
So, but who are they announcing this for? Is this 3DS XL? It's going to get even worse every time I say it.
Yeah.
Is it for the person that already has a 3DS, the person that already has a DS, the person that already has a DSi, or the person that hasn't been sold any of those items? Are they looking to grow the market?
That depends. Does it come with a charger?
It comes with a charger in North America.
But it doesn't do it in Japan and Europe.
Yes, which is weird because it is my understanding it doesn't even come with a charging cable to charge it off of a computer. Because they got to save, they got to cut costs.
Apparently, but damn, dude.
I was kind of miffed when I opened up my brand new PlayStation 3 and it had composite RCA cables in it because it's an HD system. It should come with HD wires.
Well, yeah, but the 360s come with those. I mean,
Yeah.
they assume that everybody has those, and if you're gonna play on a big-ass TV, you probably have at least one HDMI cable already.
Well, you do now. When I bought my PS3 back in 2007, I had to go buy an HDMI cable.
And, well, that's your fault.
That's the only thing I've ever bought from an Apple store. Odd story.
You bought an HDMI cable from an Apple store?
It was right when the Apple TV came out, and they had HDMI cables on sale for $5.
Well, yeah, because that's about how much they cost.
Yeah.
Or,
So I went in and bought an HDMI cable from the Apple store, and to this day, since I said you could email me the receipt to save paper and save the planet, to this day I still get Apple notifications in my email inbox.
hey, we got this thing. You want it? No, I don't want it.
I don't care, but it's funny. So, but the question is, are they going to grow the market with the 3DS XL? Probably not.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's what. I think what it is an upsell to the people that already have the 3DS.
And if you already have a 3DS,
to the early adopter that already got already had to take a $70 hit. Now we're going to sell you a $200 hit.
That's even bigger, but it's the same resolution. It's bigger pixels, but that's it.
Yeah.
So those games are still going to look, they're going to look blown up and grainy.
For the Vita faithful, don't worry. I checked. The Vita screen's still bigger.
That's great.
So
I'm sure the PSP screen is
size matters.
Almost as big.
Size matters.
That's great. Good for you.
But the DSi XL, the games didn't look markedly worse. I mean, they didn't look great anymore because you blow it up a little bit, and
they look
fine.
a little grainy and pixelated.
I don't think no one's gonna pick up the 3DS XL and say this looks like crap.
I don't know. Do you really want to carry around what's essentially a
mini laptop?
Yeah, it's almost as big as an Ultrabook, but
I have a problem fitting the Vita in my cargo pants.
Let
I
alone-
imagine the DSi XL.
Well, that'd be like carrying your original Game Boy around, the one that's like an inch and a half thick and was
the Gray Monster.
the
I
Gray
have one.
Monster.
So yeah, but it's
somewhere.
the weird thing is the stuff they didn't add to it. The bigger story about the 3DS XL is the things they didn't give it. Like it doesn't have a charger in Japan. It doesn't have a charger in Europe. It doesn't have a second analog stick.
Yeah,
So I guess they're just saying like, we made that second cross-pad add-on
for that one game,
Monster Hunter that supported it optionally, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which supported it optionally, and Kid Icarus, which supports it if you're left-handed, but...
Which is ridiculous.
But it's basically like, here's Nintendo saying, here's a $20 thing again.
Yeah.
Use it, and then leave it.
Yeah.
And it's just weird, and Nintendo's obviously hurting at the moment. And things are coming to a head in that company with how they've built and how they do business, because they can't sell hardware at a loss. Their economic structure is not built for that, like Sony's and Microsoft's.
And they don't come out with first-party games fast enough to warrant for them to live off of software sales alone.
Their development stable is deeper than Sony's, but not as wide. Nintendo couldn't release 2 first-person shooters almost back-to-back and have them both be pseudo-successful.
Well, they don't really have a first-person shooter.
Well,
like in a first-party perspective. I mean,
they couldn't do 2
Metroid.
platformers. They couldn't do 2 things in the same genre as close as Sony did Resistance 2 and Killzone 2 and have them both be reasonably successful.
Yeah.
So Nintendo's in an odd spot, and I feel like the 3DS XL is a straw that they're grasping at.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Granted, I'm more interested in buying that than I was buying the 3DS, just because I could see myself at home with it, playing with it.
Maybe. Like I said, I've got a PSP that I hardly use. That I'm going to try to fix that, but I can't see myself buying one of those. But if I was going to buy one, it would be either that or the DSi XL.
Yeah.
Because again, I've got those little bitty things. I have a hard time with the PSP. And
that's one thing I like about the Vita is because the screen
it's a little bit wider.
Screen's wider.
So your hands are a little bit further apart. It's a little bit.
But then the touchpad's weird. Climbing in Uncharted like this is just, it's good, but it's awkward.
Yeah, that seems.
I kind of have to roll the system in my hands a little bit and rebalance it. But so where's Nintendo going? This is the problem. And this is the problem with the Wii U is. What happens if this fails?
If the Wii U doesn't fly, then
what happens?
Nintendo may go the way of Sega.
Let's say hypothetically, what happens if the Wii U comes out, the PlayStation 4 comes out, and Wii U sales drop off the map, like Dreamcast sales dropped off the map?
Yeah, when the PS2 came out.
And the PS2 when it launched didn't even have good games.
No, it didn't.
I mean, it didn't.
But it was
honest.
a cheap DVD player. It was a cheaper DVD player, and that's a lot of what Sony has done, right? Because the PS1...
They've never... I like Jack Tretton's quote, "We've never been cheapest, we've never been first. We've always been best."
Yeah.
Okay.
The PS1 was a cheaper CD player. The PS2 was a cheap-esque DVD player, and the PS3 was when it came out, the cheapest Blu-ray player you could get. So if they can just keep writing the technology standard and setting the new standard every console.
Well, there's
obviously Blu-ray is not going to get taken out this time
after
around,
Blu-ray. There's not really another one.
For now. At some point, I'm sure there'll be Blu-ray 2 that holds 100 gigs a layer.
Well, they already have Blu-ray holographic, which can supposedly hold infinite. But you need a special Blu-ray player to play
and
it.
you can't do that, so you'd have to...
But where does Nintendo go? Could you imagine living in a world
where Nintendo's not popping out systems every 7 or 8 years?
I mean, let's be honest. The
home console
the DS and the 3DS, or the DS specifically, has helped Nintendo bankroll itself. Through the lean years of the Wii, the Game Boy Advance helped Nintendo bankroll itself through the lean years of the N64 and the GameCube, and then the DS came in. I don't see the 3DS helping them bankroll anything.
Not anymore. But they were probably making...
I mean, granted, they're killing the Vita, but that's like beating up the kid that was wearing a helmet. Like, congratulations, you're beating up the kid wearing a helmet, but you're beating up the kid wearing the helmet.
You're fighting a guy who's already dead.
Yes. So, I mean, it's like, the Vita's not dead. The Vita's not...
It's not
the stupid
dead.
Kid wearing... Not the kids wearing a helmet are stupid, but... It's not wearing the helmet. We don't want to say that. The Vita's doing healthily. It had a sales boost.
In Japan because of Persona 4.
It turns out if you put games out for a game system, the game system will sell.
Who knew?
Somewhere an old Atari executive is going, that's it! Oh!
Why didn't we think of that 30 years ago?
Jaguar! But so wrapping up, is there anything you want to say about the 3DS 3DS XL? I'm going to keep calling it the 3D XL. I think 3D XL is a better title.
Probably.
And 3DS LL that it's called in Japan is even worse than 3DS XL.
It's the large.
Large. Nintendo, release a Pokemon game and you will be fine. Done.
They are. Black and White 2's coming out.
I mean for your new systems.
For like the Wii U? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could totally do that. You just use your Wiimote as the Pokédex.
Yeah, be fine. Pokemon Snap, where you're like that around your living room.
Why didn't they announce that? If they were going to do that, why didn't they announce it at E3?
Because I don't think there's... I agree with whoever said it on the Giant Bombcast. I don't think there's that guy at Nintendo. I don't. Like, there's that guy at Sony that says, we released Infamous 1 and Infamous 2, but we have this raft of people that are clamoring for a Sly Cooper game. Oh, okay, well, let's put the backup team on Sly Cooper. Okay.
And put the B team on this, and we'll sell all this.
Like, wherever Seth Killian is going. Mm-hmm. Seth Killian, the guy, the Street Fighter, I guess you would call him fanboy liaison, is leaving Capcom. I think Nintendo needs to snatch him up and be like, Seth, what do they want? And Seth's going to go,
what do all these guys
seriously,
want?
Type Nintendo into a search engine and look at the comments.
Yeah. Google Nintendo and don't look at your own website. As far as the 3DS 3DS XL, whatever the heck it's called, I probably won't be getting one. There is a very small market probably for people who A, have bad eyes, or B, have big hands.
iPad. They probably already have an iPad. Although that person with bad eyes and big hands is like a giant mole.
You could sell it if you don't already have one. It might be good if you're not planning on if you have like a backpack.
If you don't want your portable to be that portable, which the Vita's not that portable.
What's the battery life on it? Like 4 hours, 5 hours?
I can usually get through about 6, 7-ish.
Okay.
7 on the long end.
Like if you're not
7
playing
like
Uncharted?
7 like playing a PSP game with no brightness, and they're like fresh off the charger, 7 hours.
Yeah.
But normally I do have to charge. I think I would say I have to charge my Vita about once every 2 days, and I play it pretty regularly.
Okay. So, I'm not talking about the portability as far as the battery life, because we don't know what the battery life is like in that thing.
It's apparently 0.5 better than the 3DS, because the 3DS is 3.5 to 6 hours. The 3DS XL is 3.5 hours to 6.5 hours.
So you get an extra 30 minutes-ish.
More Pokemons.
More Pokemons. I won't buy one just because I have a PSP and I have an Android, so if I wanted to play anything like that, I could just download an emulator and do that on my phone. Shh. I don't care. I said download an emulator. I didn't say...
Remember, if you're playing classic systems, play classic games on classic systems, not on your desktop. Because it's not the same.
Really? It's not the same?
It's not the same.
You can buy one of these.
Not the same. And what is that?
That's a 360 controller.
What is a 360? What is... I've never seen one. I live
I don't own one.
At Microsoft 360s.
Come to my house one time. I'll show you mine.
Uh-huh. That no.
Sounds good. No. No bueno.
Yeah. I'm sure Microsoft makes good games. They made good games for the Xbox. I'm sure there's good games for the 360. But I have a born-in platform loyalty that I've had for a while.
And it's all my fault.
That I know everyone's all like, Andy, are you gonna buy the PS4 when it comes out? Yeah, probably.
Day of. You're gonna be there. Bells on.
Well, I've never been a day of console supporter.
Really? How long did it take you to buy your PS3?
It took me 6 months, 7 months.
Okay.
I saved up for it because I wasn't gonna rush out Resistance turned out to be a launch game that I would have loved to play on launch night, but
yeah, well,
I usually wait for the franchises that I like to show up on the Sony platform.
How long did it take you to buy your Vita?
Oh, Vita I bought
day of
because Uncharted was going to be on the Vita.
Day of.
And it was like, well, there we go.
Oh man,
you've sold me. Like if had they said like PlayStation Portable launches with Ratchet and Clank game, I would have been there day of. there are game experiences that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that said, we've always said like I also support companies really well, and if Capcom said we're going to be an iOS only developer, I would have to buy an Apple device. If Konami said we're only going to buy an Android, we're only going to develop for Android or only for Google TVs, I don't know.
You're buying a Google TV.
Guess I got to buy a Google TV. I want to play the next Metal Gear. So that's it. That's wrapping up for us. 15 years down the road, when the 3DS XL is on sale for $50 at a vintage shop, I will buy one. I would rather have that model than the blue model.
Any of the other ones.
Yeah, than any of the other ones.
Well, you never know. The next one might have a second analog stick. Because it's going to be...
The next one might be holographic. The next one might have, Uncharted on it.
You do realize Nintendo's going to come out with another version of the...
Oh, yeah. Anyone who's shocked by the announcement of this 3DS XL, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
And what's Nintendo's learned from history is, hey, if we release the same thing 8 times, they buy it 7 of those times.
Yeah. Because how many times have you bought Mario 3?
I have bought Mario 3 a lot. But it does not hold... The crown jewel for the most amount of times Andy has rebought a game is Lunar.
Yeah.
Lunar followed very closely by Chrono Trigger. Those 2 games...
Or Metal Gear. You've bought Metal Gear
I've bought Metal Gear a lot. I've Metal Gear 2 probably more than anything. I haven't bought Metal Gear HD Collection yet because I already have those games. I will wait for that price to go down or else my wife will break my legs. Hey, don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon, and we will see you next week.
Peace.